Chosen one. Heaven is not silent anymore. The same people who laughed while you cried are about to witness God's fury unfold in real time. They thought your silence was weakness, but it was divine restraint. They believed your tears were defeat, but they were the signatures on heaven's court papers. Every insult, every betrayal, every smirk they threw your way, it all got recorded. Heaven doesn't miss receipts, it collects them. Pause, deep breath, lightning strikes. They thought they destroyed you, but they just activated God's wrath. This isn't a gentle correction. This is a divine reversal. The sky has turned against them, not because you cursed them, but because God heard what they said in secret. Every moment they tried to humiliate you became the fuel for their own downfall. And here's the truth most can't handle. God's anger doesn't always arrive as thunder. Sometimes it arrives as your sudden elevation. When heaven gets furious, it doesn't need to burn their houses. It builds you a palace. Your rise becomes the storm they can't survive. Visual cue, flashes of divine energy, their laughter fading into echoes of regret. You see, the wrath of God is in chaos, it's correction. When he decides to defend the innocent, he flips timelines. The same doors they slammed on you are about to open for you and lock behind them. The same stage they tried to throw you off. God will now make them watch your coronation from the crowd. This isn't revenge. This is redemption through revelation. You were chosen for exposure, not for destruction. Heaven let them touch your name, only so the world could witness what happens when mortals mess with the divine. They mocked your faith. Now they'll need it to survive. They buried your truth. Now it grows roots through concrete. They used your kindness as a weapon. Now your peace becomes their punishment. Because when God gets furious, he doesn't scream. He shifts. He shifts power. He shifts attention. He shifts destiny. And that's what's happening right now. The shift has begun. The universe is realigning itself to clear your name and crown your purpose. Retention twist. But here's the twist. Their punishment won't look like fire. It'll look like your elevation. Your new blessings will confuse them. Your peace will haunt them. Your glow will expose their guilt. Every time you rise, heaven is saying, this is justice. This is honor restored. So when you start shining in rooms they tried to keep you out of, don't call it coincidence. Call it God's fury in disguise. The same sky they used to laugh under has turned into your spotlight. They targeted you because you were pure, because you didn't fight dirty, because your silence exposed their demons. They saw your peace and mistook it for weakness. They saw your light and called it arrogance. Every time you chose to forgive, they sharpened another lie. They didn't hate you for what you did. They hated you for who you are. You stood in rooms filled with smiling enemies, not realizing they were rehearsing betrayal behind those smiles. You gave love to people who studied your every flaw just to weaponize it later. You helped those who secretly envied the purity in your spirit. Flashback scene, the whispers in dark corners, the sudden distance, the way eyes shifted when you entered the room, the cruel laughter that followed after you walked away. You were surrounded by actors pretending to care, but their real role was destruction. You were the innocent one in a crowd of false prophets. The truth standing in the middle of performance. They plotted, but not because you were wrong. They plotted because your presence exposed what was wrong in them. When you're chosen, your silence becomes a mirror, and those who live by deception cannot stand to see their reflection in your calm. Emotional tone deepens. They mocked your kindness, mistook your patience for weakness, and used your compassion as a stage to perform cruelty. They wanted to break you because your endurance embarrassed their hypocrisy. You never raised your voice, yet your peace shouted louder than their chaos. You never fought back, but your stillness made their guilt echo. But here's the truth. God was watching. He watched when you held back tears so no one else would feel bad. He watched when they twisted your words, when they left you out, when they celebrated your pain like a festival. Heaven didn't interrupt the scene because God was letting them write their own verdict. Because when heaven watches long enough, justice becomes unavoidable. Every screenshot they saved, every rumor they spread, every knife they threw behind your back, all of it got recorded in spiritual evidence. You didn't need to defend yourself because your silence became your witness. And now their time of pretending is over. The same audience that believed their lies will soon see the truth. The same hands that applauded your downfall will soon tremble when your name rises again. Your innocence wasn't weakness, it was your weapon. You didn't lose because you stayed kind. You won because you didn't turn cold. You passed the hardest test a soul can face. Staying pure in a world that punished, they thought your silence meant defeat. But heaven knew it meant restraint. Because the real strength isn't screaming back. It's standing still while God prepares your vindication. And chosen one, that's exactly what's happening now. The crime against the innocent is being overturned. Every false word is turning into divine testimony. Every betrayal is turning into your evidence. You are not forgotten. You are the case heaven is reopening. And when God reopens a case, the guilty don't just lose, they watch the innocent rise. The Bible says, "Touch not my anointed, do my prophets no harm." Yet they did. They mocked, they plotted, they cursed, and now the universe has reversed its orbit. Every word they spoke against you is circling back like a divine boomerang. Every scheme they built with lies is collapsing under the weight of truth. The same mouse that tried to define you will soon choke on their own falsehoods. They thought they could manipulate heaven's timing, but the clock of karma doesn't tick on human approval. It moves by divine law. And right now that law is activated. The spiritual scales have tipped. Heaven's patience has expired. Thunder intensifies. Flashes of light, wind rising. Everything they built on your tears is collapsing. The same tables they used to gossip are turning into confession stands. You see, chosen one, God doesn't forget. He collects. Every tear you cried became currency in heaven. Every humiliation became a seed that's now sprouting justice. You weren't losing time. You were building evidence. Now the divine storm has arrived, and it's personal. Because when you touch by purpose, those who touch you touch heaven's property, and heaven protects its own. The universe is now rearranging itself to defend you, quietly, strategically, perfectly. Listen to this. God's fury isn't about revenge. It's about restoration. He doesn't destroy for entertainment. He rebuilds for testimony. You don't just get back what you lost. You get it multiplied, purified, glorified. The goal isn't to watch them fall. It's to make your rise undeniable. And that's what's happening now. Every time you feel peace where there used to be pain, that's heaven at work. Every opportunity returning from nowhere, every sudden apology, every name that once vanished but now reappears. Those are the first signs of divine anger turning into divine correction. Because God's wrath doesn't come as chaos, it comes as clarity. He exposes, he flips, he replaces. Retention twist. And here's where it gets wild. God won't destroy them with punishment. He'll destroy them with your success. Their curse won't be fire. It'll be watching you rise higher than they ever imagined. Their guilt will echo every time they see your name celebrated. Their judgment won't be suffering. It'll be silence when heaven promotes you in public. They built false stories to bury you, but those stories are now crumbling in the light of your rebirth. They'll scroll through your success in disbelief, whispering, "How did this happen?" Not knowing that while they were gossiping, God was working. Visual cue. Lightning splits the sky. Chosen one. God doesn't just fight for you. He fights through you. Your glow becomes his weapon. Your elevation becomes his judgment. You don't have to lift a finger. Your blessings will do the talking. The same stage they tried to humiliate you on will now be the altar of your redemption. They will witness, not understand. They will remember, not recover. Because when God releases divine anger, he doesn't need an audience. He creates one. So stand still, chosen one. Don't explain. Don't retaliate. Just rise. Because your rising is the retaliation. Heaven's fury has one target, injustice. And the moment you surrendered, heaven took over. Final whisper. They thought they broke you, but they only broke the patience of God chosen one. There's a shift in the spiritual realm. You can feel it in your bones. Sudden chills in still air, a strange calm in chaos, a peace that doesn't make sense. You've been sensing it. The atmosphere changing, your dreams becoming messages, your silence being heard in heaven. This is that moment, the one every prophet, every survivor, every chosen soul eventually reaches. The moment God starts speaking publicly. Heaven has been silent long enough. The courtroom of the Spirit has reached a verdict. The innocent will rise, the guilty will tremble. Hidden truths surfacing in the news and conversations and dreams. People who lied about you suddenly confessing in guilt. Blocked doors swinging open without human help. People who walked away now trying to return, not from love, but from conviction. These are not coincidences. They're confirmations. The spiritual energy has flipped. The broadcast from heaven is now live. Sudden truth exposures. People who betrayed you start confessing. Opportunities that were blocked suddenly open. The same world that once doubted you is now hearing your name differently. Not as gossip, but as grace. God is rewriting your narrative in front of the very audience that once clapped for your downfall. When God speaks publicly, it's not quiet, it's cinematic. Lightning across timelines, winds rearranging destinies. Every word they whispered against you, it's echoing back louder, sharper, unavoidable. This isn't karma, it's kingdom justice. And the rule of heaven is clear. Every curse they sent returns sevenfold. Every seed of hate they planted grows into a forest of regret. Every trap they built for you becomes the stage where they have to watch your rise. Chosen one, when God speaks, everything listens. Mountains move, timelines bend, silence breaks. You're about to experience divine interruptions, unplanned blessings, impossible doors, random moments that align perfectly. That's how God announces his verdict, not through revenge, but through restoration. The people who once said they'll never make it will now say, only God could have done that. The same lips that mocked your prayers will now speak your testimony. The same eyes that rolled at your faith will now witness your fulfillment. Because heaven doesn't whisper when it's time to vindicate, it thunders. So when you start seeing things shift suddenly, don't panic. That's not chaos, that's confirmation. When people who hurt you start resurfacing, don't get emotional. That's exposure. When your old wounds start itching again, that's not pain, that's prophecy in motion. Heaven is rearranging your world in public view so that no one can deny who you are. Retention punchline. The spiritual verdict has been read. The innocent will rise. The guilty will tremble. And now God's voice is the only one that matters. The same sky that watched you suffer is now testifying for you. Every lie is being reversed. Every scar is becoming a signature of divine favor. Every closed door is now swinging wide, not because of chance, but because heaven said, enough. My chosen one will be honored. Soft whisper, echoing through thunder. When God speaks publicly, even silence stands to listen. Chosen one. When God steps in to clear your name, he doesn't stop at forgiveness, he moves into glorification. Because God doesn't just clear your name, he glorifies it. They buried you in rumors, they covered you in lies, they thought they could erase your legacy. But heaven had already written your story in ink that can't be edited. They buried you with lies, but heaven resurrected you with truth. Your name is not just being defended, it's being anointed. There's a supernatural spotlight forming around your life. And everyone who once used your name as gossip will now have to use it as testimony. Cinematic imagery, crowds whispering your name, but this time with awe. Doors opening because someone spoke your name in a high place. People who ignored you now studying your success. People will speak your name with respect. Enemies will lower their eyes when they hear your story. Your name will carry divine weight. Because when heaven decides to honor you, no human can stop it. Every lie melts in the heat of divine truth. Every rumor fades in the light of your restoration. Voice intensifies. Honor is not a gift. It's a heavenly command. And when God demands honor, no human can deny it. This isn't about ego. It's about evidence. God is using your elevation as proof that he protects his chosen. The same people who said you'll never recover will soon be quoting your resilience. The same ones who tried to erase your identity will now reference your strength to inspire others. That's how heaven works. It flips humiliation into honor, gossip into glory, pain into platform. Retention twist. But here's the divine twist. The same mouths that cursed you will now promote you. The voices that once whispered your downfall will now echo your comeback. The people who tried to bury your name will now be the ones spreading your testimony, not out of love, but because the truth is too loud to deny. When heaven demands honor, everything on earth must realign to that command. That means conversations are changing in rooms you've never entered. That means your name is being mentioned in divine meetings you didn't even know existed. God is orchestrating your recognition without you having to chase it. He's rewriting public opinion without you saying a word. He's turning your silence into thunder and your story into scripture. Cinematic moment. Flashbacks of rejection now replay as redemption. Those who rolled their eyes at your faith will soon say, they were right all along. Those who slandered your peace will now search for it. Those who laughed at your prayers will now ask for your guidance. Your name has graduated from the mouths of mockers to the records of miracles. And this isn't temporary fame, it's divine respect. Because when heaven honors you, the vibration of your name carries frequency. Your presence changes rooms. Your silence shifts energy. Your walk becomes evidence of divine backing. You are not the same person who was misunderstood. You are the refined version, the one who survived humiliation with humility and pain with purpose. So now God is not just defending your reputation, He's displaying it. You will not just be restored privately, you will be honored publicly. Soft whisper. They thought you were finished, but you were only being formatted for favor. And now every time your name is spoken, heaven gets glory. Because your story is no longer a tragedy, it's a testimony. The storm didn't ruin your name, it refined it. The betrayal didn't silence your truth, it amplified your value. The rejection didn't block your path, it became your protection. Final line of the chapter. When heaven demands honor on your name, the earth has no choice but to obey. Chosen one, watch how quickly the story changes. The same people who doubted you, mocked you, and whispered behind your back are now watching in silence as your name rises above theirs. The stage has flipped. The narrative has reversed. The tables that once carried your humiliation are now holding your testimony. You don't need to explain anymore. You don't need to defend yourself. God already issued the public correction. The same audience that believed lies about you will soon become the witnesses to your divine vindication. Cinematic imagery. Crowds that once pointed fingers now stand in shock. The gossipers who used your name as entertainment now use it as reference. The ones who blocked your path now have to open doors for you. The very crowd that once mocked you will soon defend you. The one who lied about you will be forced to clear your name. You're walking into the season of public reversal, not revenge, but revelation. Heaven is reversing the energy. What was once used against you is now being turned for you. Every rumor that was meant to ruin you will now reveal who you really are. Every rejection that made you cry will become proof that you were divinely protected. Prophetic promise. By divine decree, your reputation will shine brighter than the lies that tried to stain it. They threw dirt on your name, not knowing that God would turn it into soil for your growth. Every insult became fertilizer. Every betrayal became building material. And now your elevation is happening so fast that even your enemies can't keep up. Emotionally charged narration. You won't even need to clap back. God already did. He's arranging scenes where your enemies must witness your blessings from the front row. They'll have to watch the person they tried to destroy become everything they secretly wanted to be. They'll see you walking in peace, covered in grace, blessed beyond logic, and realize the same God they mocked is now the one protecting you. This is not coincidence. It's prophetic choreography. Every delay, every disappointment, every betrayal was divinely positioned so your victory could be undeniable. Visual cue. You walking confidently into new spaces, calm and radiant. Their whispers fade behind you. Your silence speaks louder than their words ever did. Retention twist. And here's what most don't know. Their karma started the day you stopped explaining yourself. Because silence isn't weakness, it's the sound of God taking over. The moment you stopped pleading your case, heaven opened its courtroom. The day you stopped trying to convince them of your truth, God began broadcasting it himself. And now the evidence is everywhere. In your glow, your success, your peace, your rebirth. They will try to act confused. How did this happen? But deep down, they'll know exactly why. Because you kept your heart clean while they kept their hands dirty. You stayed pure when they got petty. And heaven rewards that. Powerful prophetic declaration. Chosen one, the reversal has begun. The same mouths that cursed you will now call you blessed. The same hands that pointed at you will now applaud you. The same hearts that hated you will now learn from you. You don't owe anyone revenge. Your rise is revenge enough. Every new blessing will echo louder than their gossip. Every door that opens will close another mouth. Because God isn't just restoring you, He's promoting you in front of them. Whispered finale. They said you'd never make it. But look, they have to live with the proof that you did. Heaven's justice is poetic. Your story is now the sermon. And your peace is the prophecy fulfilled. Chosen one. Listen closely. God isn't late. He was gathering evidence. Every insult, every betrayal, every tear you cried in silence became divine documentation. Nothing was wasted. Every humiliation, every lonely night, every time you said, "I'll just keep quiet," was written into heaven's archive as proof of your purity. God doesn't move in panic. He moves in precision. And now the verdict has been written. For a while, it looked like the wicked were winning. It looked like they got away with what they did. But heaven was watching, building a case behind the scenes. While you were healing, God was recording. While you were praying for strength, angels were gathering receipts. Pause. Whisper. Heaven is done being quiet. It's time for divine justice. This isn't karma. This is court. The spiritual courtroom has gone into session. And the judge has spoken. The innocent will rise. The guilty will answer. You won't need revenge. You won't need exposure. Your peace will be their lesson. Your glow will be their guilt. And your rise will be heaven's proof that God defends the innocent. Every lie they told about you will now crumble under the weight of truth. Every name they dragged through the mud will now shine with gold. Every fake smile, every act of manipulation, every rumor that tried to bury you is now fuel for your divine elevation. Cinematic imagery. You walking calmly through the same storm that once tried to drown you. But now the waves part in your favor. You don't even need to speak. Your presence radiates divine confirmation. Because when God defends you, He doesn't whisper it. He broadcasts it. He turns your enemies into your witnesses and your pain into public prophecy. This is the season where divine justice replaces human explanation. The world won't understand how your situation flipped so fast, how your energy feels so protected, how your name suddenly carries weight again. But that's the beauty of heaven's plan. They thought they ended your story, but they didn't know God had written an epilogue called elevation. Prophetic declaration. The same hands that tried to bury you will now be forced to applaud you. Because the burial was never a funeral. It was a planting. You were the seed that had to go underground to bloom in silence. And now, the harvest is here. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your peace, your glow, your new beginning. Your success is your statement. Your grace is your proof. Those who once said your name with disgust will soon say it with respect. Those who laughed at your downfall will now whisper your comeback story like a parable. This isn't just your vindication. It's heaven's victory. Because when God restores His chosen, it's never subtle. It's strategic. So breathe, chosen one. The battle is over. The evidence is complete. And the divine sentence has been delivered. Justice is yours. Soft whisper, fading like wind. Your peace is the verdict. Your glow is the judgment. Your rise is the revelation. The universe has shifted, and everything that once worked against you will now work for you. This is your divine reversal, your spiritual compensation. your final restoration, because God Himself has demanded honor on your name. Call to action. Comment, God is defending my name, if you're claiming this prophecy. Like this video, share it with another chosen one, and subscribe, because the next prophecy reveals the 3 days after justice, when the divine crown appears.